right, hello everybody, and welcome to our first official Move Monday of May. I know last Monday we did have a live boot camp going over modified exercises, so thank you everybody who were able to join for that. But as we go into this month of May, it is Women's Health Month. It is also Asian American Pacific Islander Month, and coming up on Friday the 13th from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. There will be a really great seminar that I highly recommend joining if you're able to, just about key issues around that. So again, Friday the 13th from 12 to 1 p.m. Make sure you register for that seminar. But as we go into the information for today's Move Monday, I did want to talk about it with it being Women's Health Month. I know that there are some myths around exercise or weightlifting and women as far as women doing these strength exercises, or different myths involving that. So today we're going to be talking about three main myths revolving around women and weightlifting. And I know that some of these key points of information might be things you already know, but if not, hopefully you learned something from that today. But again, I am Coach Brandon. Thank you again for joining and getting into our very first myth here. Okay, so for our first myth, I think this is probably one of the most common ones that you hear, is that lifting equals getting bulkier. And that's not true. I mean, in some ways you will gain muscle mass by lifting weights, by any sort of resistance exercise. Your muscles will get stronger over time. You will gain muscle mass, but getting bulky quickly is something that does not happen for most people naturally. So don't be scared to pick up some weights. In fact, lifting weights, there's a plethora of benefits to lifting weights for both men and women, but especially when it comes to biologically, with hormone production, women are less likely to build muscle as quickly as male counterparts. So again, lifting does not necessarily equal getting bulky rapidly. So don't be scared to pick up some weights and start doing those resistance exercises. All right, flying right into myth number 2 is that doing cardiovascular exercise will burn more calories than weightlifting or lifting resistance, like dumbbells or barbells, different things that are weighted exercises. So cardiovascular exercise is great. I highly recommend doing cardiovascular exercise, but it's not necessarily burning more calories than weight. And there's a big reason for that. During cardiovascular exercise, let's say for example, you do 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise. Maybe that's walking on a treadmill, running outside. Over the course of those 30 minutes, it's very likely that you will burn more calories during that time than you might burn weightlifting or doing resistance exercises during that time. However, what's happening is, as you are lifting weights, as you are doing resistance exercises, over the course of the next 24 to 36 hours, your muscles are continuing to require more oxygen. You're burning more calories during that time. So over the course of the next 24 hours after lifting weights, you continue to burn calories at a higher rate than you do after the course of, say, 20 to 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise. So again, not a bad thing to do aerobic exercise, cardiovascular exercise, but to say that it burns more calories is not true entirely. So again, make sure, by all means, continue to do your cardiovascular exercise at least 3 to 5 days a week, at least 30 minutes at a time, but add in the resistance training and you will notice increased strength, but also increased calorie burn. And finally, myth number 3 is that, kind of similar to our first myth that we were talking about, is that lifting leads to overall weight gains. Now, I know a lot of people have had this association with the thought that lifting weights, you see a lot of individuals that lift weights and sometimes they just look bulkier, looking like they've gained a lot of weight in general. And there are a couple reasons for that as well that we won't get into all those details today, but some quick little points about that is when you're lifting, sometimes people that are intentionally trying to build muscle mass at a faster rate, they'll be consuming calories at a higher rate, and so they'll seem bulkier quicker. But lifting itself does not lead to weight gain, and by weight gain, a lot of people have the association of bad weight gain, so gaining fat mass. Lifting weights does not lead to those type of weight gains. Mostly what's going to lead to those type of weight gains are a positive caloric surplus, and that is what ultimately is going to lead to those type of negative weight gains. So again, don't be scared to lift weights. You're gonna build muscle mass. However, muscle mass is more dense than fat mass. So even when you are gaining some weight through muscle, you're actually going to inherently start burning more calories at a higher rate, making it easier to lose the fat mass. So again, myth number 3, lifting weights does not equal weight gain in a negative sense. So real quickly, before we end this video, I did want to talk about benefits of exercise. Now, I know I just mentioned that exercise, we build muscle mass, which is of course a good thing, but some quick benefits of exercise. As I mentioned before, the first benefit, more muscle mass equals more fat burn, more fat loss. So again, you're going to increase essentially your metabolism, which as a result of more muscle mass, you are going to burn more calories. Also, as your strength is increasing, you're going to lower your injury risk. So the stronger you are, the lower your risk of injury, the stronger your muscles are, the stronger your tendons and joints become, the stronger your bones become, lower risks of injury from consistent resistance exercise and building muscle mass. Also, consistent exercise leads to an increase in bone density. So with a higher bone density, a lower risk of osteoporosis. Now, back when I was in school, in college, my final project for my last class of college was I talked about the risks of osteoporosis in the female community. And osteoporosis actually affects women at a much higher rate than men. 80% of individuals, of adults with osteoporosis are women. So by exercising consistently throughout your life, you increase your bone density, leading to lower risks of osteoporosis later in life. And finally, reduced age-related atrophy. So what atrophy is a loss in muscle mass. And the more you consistently exercise and do strength training with resistance exercises, so weights, you're reducing your amount of muscle mass that you lose naturally throughout life. So you're gonna be able to live a much more active life for a longer period of time and also reduce risks of injury. So those are the key benefits that I wanted to go over today, along with our 3 myths of women not doing resistance exercise. So I highly encourage you, pick up those weights. Don't be afraid to do that, and you're going to live a much happier, healthier, longer life. So thank you for joining this Move Monday. We'll see you next time. Have